It could have been like Henry Ford, made them all the same. Spare parts would be cheaper. Who would make 6 billion people all different? You see, with 4 types of people, 4 astrological signs, we all argue all the time, which is great. Because think about what it would be like if we all agreed. You know, isn't that a nice picture? Yeah, that's a wonderful picture. Well, I wouldn't do another one, would I? What if somebody said, oh, I've had a bad day, I'm going to commit suicide? Well, I agree. I'm going to commit suicide. And everybody commits suicide. So God would stop growing, wouldn't he? So God's got to make sure that we all disagreed. And so this is an important part of the mechanism of life on Earth. Which is why we'll never go to another planet. I mean, this is your domain now. If we go to another planet which doesn't have a sun like ours, we're all going to be the same. If we use artificial insemination and fertility pills, we're all going to think the same, and sooner or later we'll all kill ourselves on that planet, whether it be Mars or wherever. So we have to find a sun which has 2 magnetic fields, where they rotate at different speeds, where they produce the right hormones to give us 4 types of star sign, to all make us disagree, so we can all be happy. Easy, isn't it? So how are you... Now I know, I figured all this out because I was rich in this life, because I had an education. I could think this stuff through. That's when I say rich, because I was able to do this. I don't mean money. But I know next time, if I'm not very careful, I'll come back as a poor person. Now Jesus says, give all your wealth away and follow me. It's difficult, isn't it? You go to the bank manager and say, I'd like to take all my money out because I'm giving it away. Difficult, isn't it? You know. So I think, well, okay, what's the next best thing? If I write all this information down, the next time I come back, if I read it, I'll come back rich and get to heaven. Because I'll know what to do and how to live, and I'll know that this is hell. Now, I could write it down in pictures, like this Aztec calendar, and explain how the world ended on 4 previous magnetic reversals in the last 18,169 years. This is the Aztec calendar. Or I could encode it in numbers. Don't forget, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but some stuff like 26, 37, 1366040, 18,106, very difficult to put that in a picture, because the language will change. You know, when the Spaniards invaded Mexico, they stopped speaking the Quichumaya tongue. They started to speak Spanish. So the numbers might change, the language changes. So I've got to make it more permanent. So I need to encode numbers of the sun's rotation, are very important, 26, 28 if you're on the Earth, 37 or 41 if you're on the Earth, 96, that's the number of magnetic sunspot cycles, 97 if you're going to count the one that includes the 18,000-year cycle, the number of magnetic shifts, 20 if we're talking about magnetic reversal, the 1366040 if we're talking about rises and falls of civilization, and 1366560 if we're talking about Venus. So we're going to go down to Mexico now, and we're going to have a look at the Temple of Inscriptions at Palenque, because it was there in 1952 that the archaeologist Alberto Ruz took the paving slab off the top of the pyramid here. He scratched out the mortar filling from those holes, and he found a staircase running down inside the pyramid here. 26 steps. He then turned to his right along a landing and went down 22 steps. There was 4 more inside the tomb at the bottom, which he later discovered. So 26 altogether. Again, there was a brick wall at the end with a stone box. In the stone box, there was a pearl in a seashell. The pearl represents the planet Venus and rebirth in ancient civilizations. And some of the numbers the ancient civilizations used, like 666, the mark of the beast in the Bible, they used those to convey the information which we're talking about. And they also used 999. Well, if 666 is hell, what do you think 999 might be? Heaven. Yeah, it's a good idea, isn't it? Okay. Well, why would the pearl be in the cinnabar? Well, the pearl is Venus, and the atomic number of cinnabar, the powdered form of the liquid metal mercury, is 80. It means it's got 80 protons in the middle. So the pearl in the seashell is number 81. Now, I know that because when I was studying Tutankhamen, he had 143 pieces of jewelry inside his bandages. He was number 144 of the 144,000 that go to heaven, the purified ones in Revelation. So the pearl in the cinnabar is number 81, which is 9 nines. 999999999. So immediately, has this tomb got something to do with heaven? The door to the tomb was triangular. They demolished the stone chest, which had 11 jade beads, 3 red painted shells, and 3 plates. And they entered the tomb in 1952, July. And Alberto Ruz noticed that there was 5 beams holding up the ceiling, 6 pillars on the wall, that the sarcophagus lid here had 2 corners missing. Well, of course, what's missing isn't missing if you're a Mayan. And what's not missing is missing. And the sarcophagus inside had one of the corners chopped off. So that was the sarcophagus lid. It weighs 5 tons, 12 foot long, 6 feet wide, solid limestone, so big they can't remove it from the tomb. And the body was kept in this sarcophagus, which had a missing corner at the bottom here. And the carving on the sarcophagus was very popular in the 1960s because Eric von Däniken said it might be a guy in a spaceship. But this was going to be much more than any of those things because the triangular door represented a journey into the mind. When we examine the pyramid, just going back to that picture we saw a few moments ago, the paving stone at the top, there were 2 holes in one corner, 2 holes in the other corner, 2 holes in the other corner, 2 holes in the other corner, and there were 2 plaster heads on the floor showing the man in the tomb, Lord Paikal. That was one of them, and that was the other one. There were 3 clay plates in the stone chest, 3 red painted shells, 3 sides to the door tomb, 3 jade beads. The man in the tomb, the bones of the man in the tomb, had a jade bead in his right hand, a jade bead in his left hand, and a jade bead in his mouth. And he had a necklace around his neck with 3 levels on it. There were 4 steps down to the tomb itself. The man had 4 jade rings on his left hand, 4 jade rings on his right hand. There were 4 pairs of holes in the slab at the top, and there were 4 concrete plugs or limestone plugs holding down the lid of the tomb. There were 5 pyramid landings, 5 temple stairways, 5 male skeletons, 5 ceiling beams, 5 sarcophagus sides. There were 6 temple pillars, 6 sides to the tomb, but there were no more 6s in the temple at Palenque in Mexico. The numbers 666 were missing. At least they were missing until we had a look at the necklace around the man's neck. And when we have a look at the necklace, we find out we have 13 beads, which is 6 plus 7. We had another 13 beads, which is 6 plus 7, and another 13 beads, 6 plus 7, which gives us the 3 missing 6s, 6, 6, 6, and throws up 3 7s, 7, 7, 7. There's another 7 there, but we're still missing a 7. Here we have 15, which is 7 plus 8, which gives us the last 7 and the first of the 8s. Now, the Maya used a bar and dot system to count. 5 was a bar, 1 was a dot was 1, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, which gives us the 5 8s, including the 1 from the 15. There were 9 steps at the bottom of the pyramid, 9 pyramid levels, 9 steps at the top, 9 paintings on the wall, and 9 codes down either side of the lid. If we now take 9 of the Maya calendar cycles, they measured time in cycles of 20-day periods, not weeks. They didn't use 7 days, they used 20. 260-day periods, 360-day periods, 7,200-day periods, and 144, that's where their counting stopped. If we take 9 of those, 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 we come up with 1,366,000. 560 days, which is the birth of Venus number.